Hello there gorgeous gamers and welcome back to Pure Play TV. We're back with another video review and this time it's the Brutal Mortal Shell Enhanced Edition, which is a new release for PS5 and Xbox Series XS. And I've spent the last week getting my arse handed back to me time and time again. So I'm finally ready to do the review. Let's get on with it. Let's start with the obvious. Mortal Shell Enhanced Edition is an upgrade over the last gen versions. If you've played the game before and you want to know how it's been improved, I will get to that, don't worry. But first, I'm going to have a bit of a whinge and a moan about how I'm not good enough to beat this bloody game, because that's the truth. I didn't beat it. What's more is that I've no idea how close I've come to beating the damn thing, or if I've come close at all. So, for the sake of getting this review done before the inevitable Mortal Shell 2 comes out, I'm just going to go with what I've experienced, which I think is a large enough portion of the game. Mortal Shell is, to put it simply, a Dark Souls clone at a lower price point. I only know this because this is what I've been told. I don't play Dark Souls. I'm aware of it and the prestige that comes with beating the game, but I don't have enough time in my life to get good at a game that will take me dozens of hours. I'm just too busy. Plus, the aesthetic really isn't my cup of tea. It's just a bit too dark and grim for me. So, why on earth did I play Mortal Shell Enhanced Edition? Because I had to, that's why. Sometimes in life, you'll do jobs you don't particularly want to do, and for me, this was one of them. That might sound like I'm throwing some serious shade at Mortal Shell, but I'm not. Mortal Shell is my first proper Dark Souls style game, but I'm not a total newcomer. If you've played a modern action RPG like Assassin's Creed, you've played a Souls-like game. Yes, I'm aware that's an insulting comparison to the fandom, but what I mean is that many games have borrowed at least something from the gritty RPG series, with the combat being the most common trait that's lifted. So at least going into Mortal Shell, I was already tuned in to the dodge, roll, attack combat loop. What I wasn't prepared for was the complete lack of guidance. I'm still no wiser as to what I'm supposed to be doing in Mortal Shell, even if I have come to quite enjoy its challenging gameplay. The game doesn't waste any precious time in telling you to go and do a certain task. You don't even get a map, you're just thrown in and left to figure it out for yourself. Or consult an online guide, which I absolutely refuse to do out of misplaced stubbornness. If I am to ever beat this game, which I'm not sure I ever will, I want it to be my achievement, not Minge Slayer XX123 from Reddit, or, God forbid, IGN. What I've sussed out so far is that you play as a naked man thing, but you're better off taking over the dead body of a fallen warrior. There are 4 of these shells in the game, and I've got them all. So that's the game won then, right? Not a bloody chance. That's just the beginning. I think. I don't really know where this game even starts, never mind ends. The tutorial boss, Hadern, made a reappearance a few hours into the game, and once again, he killed me and I was munched by massive fish and then returned to the main portion of the game, or what I think was one of the main areas in the game. Again, I've no idea, because there's no bloody map, there's no bloody guidance, and there's no end to my frustration when it comes to Mortal Shell's new age parenting techniques. I need to be nurtured, damn it. Okay, so I don't really know what's going on with the game, or why I am Skeletor's unlicensed sibling running around in dead men's boots. What I do know is that the core combat of the game is tough as nails, but, and this is a crucial point I'm about to make, it's ultimately quite fair, so long as you know the rules and stick to them. I did not stick to them. Combat is very challenging, but it's also fair, for the most part. It's slow and deliberate, with enemies telegraphing their moves. It's like chess with hobos and swords. The enemy pulls their sword-wielding arm backwards, I shimmy to the side and hit the dodge button. The enemy lunges forward, but I've already moved out of the way and set up my knight to deliver the killing blow. Rinse, repeat, die, come back to the same area, do it all over again, then repeat several times. The trick is to follow the rules of observe, react, retreat. If you let frustration take over, as I did many a time, you'll get nowhere fast. Enemies will pile on you and you'll be out of stamina and unable to dodge your way out, and then you'll be battered to death. I didn't count how many times I died in Mortal Shell, but I'm quite sure it was in the 3 figures, and that is not a joke. My first hour with the game was brutal, my second was worse, and my third saw me going against a horrible cave-dwelling monster of a boss where I got to enjoy the next-gen feature of super quick loading times after each and every one of my couple dozen deaths. Laugh all you want, youngsters, but those reflexes you've got now will not last forever. You'll be old like me, and you'll want nothing more than a nice quiet night in with some pea and ham soup and a competitive game of family Scrabble. Lovely. Death is common in these kinds of games, so I embraced it, laughed it off, and kept on trying. Ordinarily, I wouldn't give a game like this the time of day if it's going to kill me so often. Mortal Shell has managed to buck this trend, and it's due to the combat, because I'm sure as shit not sticking around for any of the story. After spending the last few years as a gaming god in Assassin's Creed Origins, Odyssey and Valhalla, all of which have gone down the Dark Souls route for their combat, I'm finally being tested and challenged, rather than being fed fodder to munch and turn into meaningless numbers, and I really appreciate that. I can't remember the last time a game that was genuinely hard managed to keep my attention, so Mortal Shell is a win on that front. But will I ever see its end? I don't know. I'm a busy man, but I hope that over the coming years I may make some progress. Wish me luck, yeah? Right, let's have a quick word about how this plays on next gen compared to last gen. I've played a couple of hours of the game on PS4 Pro, PS5, Xbox Series XS, and Xbox One S, and Xbox One X. Whew! But my main platform has been PS5. But I can say that the experience across the next-gen consoles is far superior to the last-gen editions, though there is an exception, the Xbox Series S, but we'll come back to that in a second. First of all, let's get this out of the way. The game doesn't look massively better on PS5 or Xbox Series XS. The graphics are, for the most part, almost identical, with the slight upgrades being really hard to notice during play. These include updated, higher resolution textures, which are difficult to spot during gameplay, but that's fine. I've come to not really care, because the game isn't exactly a looker anyway. It's a nice enough looking game, yeah, but it was never going to be anything to make you go, oh wow, next gen is finally here, power my dreams. It's just that kind of game. But there is a next gen improvement that cannot be understated. 60 frames per second, and a solid one at that. This is a game changer and one that I'm glad I got to experience, because going from PS4 and Xbox One to the PS5 and Series X versions of the game was night and day. The extra responsiveness is brilliant, and at least in my case, it helped me out with gameplay, as the game felt a lot smoother and more in my hands than it did on the last gen consoles. 60 FPS is the way to play, and any next-gen game not delivering 60 FPS as standard is doing it wrong. Simple as that. That being said, the Series S version of the game is stuck at 30 FPS. For the moment, it could be updated in the future, who knows. But the game also bumps up the resolution to 4K. Now, to be clear, this is the budget-friendly next-gen Xbox that costs $200, pounds or euros less than a Series X, and it was never expected to do 4K gaming. Yet, here it is, doing 4K and a solid 30 FPS, which is still a big improvement over the Xbox One, which turned in a sub-HD resolution and a very iffy frame rate that I swear got me killed a few times. Not my own lack of gamer skills, promise. As far as next-gen enhancements go, Mortal Shell Enhanced Edition is quite light on improvements, but it enhances the game in the areas that matter most. Higher frame rates taking it up to that sweet 60 FPS for much smoother gameplay, and 4K resolution to give the game and its dark world a bit more clarity. And they are the improvements that actually matter. If you enjoyed the game on last gen, you'll get a bigger and better kick out of it on PS5 and Series X, and to some degree, Series S. And considering that it's a free upgrade if you already own the game, it's a win-win really. And if you don't own the game, it's 25 quid against Dark Souls remakes 70 quid asking price. It's a no-brainer then, if you're looking for a challenging Souls-like game. I just wish there was an easy mode for crap players like me. Or at least a fucking map. And that is the end of this review. Whew, bit of a long one, wasn't it? Well, there was a lot to talk about, and I still don't think I got to say everything I wanted to. Time budgets are a biatch. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video and you want to keep up with what we put out, be sure to like and subscribe below and give the bell icon a nudge so that you're notified whenever we've got new stuff. Go on down to the box below for the links to our social media channels, websites and our supporters page where you can support our team, if you can. I've been Chris. I am going to go and shake off this mortal shell before I get ripped by the youths of today in the comments. But I'll find another shell and I'll come back for the next one. Until then, bye bye.